Harbinger is a spec that I barely see in open world or group content, and I was also avoiding it because I didn't really like the playstyle of Necro. This doesn't mean it's a bad spec, it just didn't click with me, until I decided to give it another try. I want to mention a small thing before checking out the build. This will be an expensive one for most people, specifically because of runes and sigils. The gear itself can be expensive too if you do not have the shards to buy stat selectable gear. Now that the cost is out of the way, let's move on to the build. I am using full Viper's armor and weapons with runes of torment, pistol with sigil of torment and dagger with sigil of earth for the main set, and scepter with sigil of bursting and warhorn with sigil of geomancy for the secondary set. Please keep in mind that the secondary set is not necessary, but it helps you if you need AoE damage. The trinkets are all Vipers too. Let's take a look at the build now. I'm using curses with insidious disruption, but you can switch it to plague sending for easier condition transfer. Master of Corruption, Notoriety, and Lingering Curse, which can be switched for Parasitic Contagion in open world if you need more heals. Then we have Soul Reaping with Unyielding Blast, which can be switched for any other trait as bosses will always have max vulnerability stacks anyway. Soul Barbs and Doomfire. And finally Harbinger with Septic Corruption, Dark Gunslinger, and Doom Approaches, which is standard for Condi builds. The skills are Elixir of Promise for healing, Blood is Power, which is very important to transfer it to your target, Elixir of Risk, which can be switched to something else depending on the fight, like Spectral Grasp for CC or Corrosive Poison Cloud for projectile hate, then Elixir of Anguish, and Plague Lens for the elite. And that is pretty much it for the build. Let's take a look at the rotation. Keep in mind that in real scenarios you might need to use other skills in between to avoid mechanics, but this is what you should aim for if possible. We start directly using all elixirs as we need the blight stacks, then Blood is Power, Pistol 2, Blood is Power again, Deathly Swarm to transfer conditions and enter Shroud, use skill 4, 3, 2, and then auto attack until you can use skill 2 again. And if you have enough blight, use Shroud 3 twice. If not, use it once and leave Shroud and repeat. If you need AoE damage, switch to Scepter and Warhorn and go full piano. And that is pretty much it for the rotation, which you do not need to follow it every single time. It's better to adapt based on the situation, as you do more damage if you avoid an attack that kills you instead of following the rotation and dying. Now let's see the build in action.
Did you?
And before we end the video, I think we can also fit in a fashion segment, as we actually had that in-game for the 1st of April. The headpiece is hidden, Hellfire shoulders, default ascended chest, which here has ritualist stats because it's borrowed from another character, Hellfire gloves, Decade Saga pants, and Runic Shaman boots. The weapons are Glacial Pistol and Orin Dagger for the main set, and Wand of the Broken Voice with Luminous Trumpet for the secondary set. And finally, the back item is Shatterspark Cape. If you want to see more content like this, please let me know in the comment section below, and if you enjoyed the video, please click the like and subscribe buttons.